All right, what is up? Um, this is Cubby. I am here to talk about Surface One SA and 150, and I'm doing this, um, I think, mainly for myself for when I go for 149 or better in the future. And I also think it would be helpful for someone going for, um, 151, 150. Um, Obviously, I would defer to anyone who is better um, than that. But yeah, I think this is mainly just for me to revisit. I meant to do this for Archives 55 SA and Double O, and then I just totally didn't. And now it's kind of been a couple weeks, so I probably won't. But I just got 150 for SA and Double O last night. I got Double O about 2 hours after I got SA, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. I have been playing for probably 2 weeks or so. Not as I think this past week I played a lot versus in the past I played a bit more casually. So, anyways, we can go ahead and get into it. When I learned this level, I watched the tutorial that's on the forums, and then I got some advice from Icy, and I watched the world record runs, and I watched Irie's runs as well because he is input display. So I think all of that was pretty helpful. So right on the screen I have my S1 SA 150 raw here. So I figured I would start with this and I can just start talking about my thoughts on the run. So here we go. So immediately I am playing 1.2. I am playing on wide. I feel like I've seen some runs do full. Not sure if anyone has played cinema on this. I did play cinema kind of as a meme for like one or two runs at some point, and definitely have to adjust your lines for things visible on your screen, but it didn't seem actually that terrible. This was when I had 151 pretty fresh, and I was able to get like 152 on cinema, so I don't think it's actually terrible. But, anyways, I'm playing on wide, and in the tutorial, it states that you cut the first cinema immediately in order to not have a guard mess you up later on. I found, and I'm not sure if this is just for, if that advice is just for 149 or better, but when I'm pacing up to 150, I, even if I cut the first cinema, I had a guard screw me up later on that I did not have screw me up when I decided to watch both cinemas in full. So the way I found it, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm missing there. Maybe it's a pacing issue, but in terms of learning the level and shaving down seconds down to 150, I found that it was just better to wait out both cinemas in full, and then that guard would not screw me up later. And I can mention where the guard is later on. So, anyways, I watched both cinemas in full. So immediately I'm in right strafe, and I'm turning to the left, and essentially I want, hold on, let me make sure my cursor is on screen. Okay, hopefully it is. So I'm turning to the left, and I want to leave like, I want to have a little sliver of open on the very right of my screen. So I'm gonna initially turn and then adjust a little bit more. So big adjust and then slowly just adjust a little more. This might even be a little bit too much space for the perfect line, but yeah, you definitely don't want it to where you don't see any space, because then I think you hit the trees just a little bit. I think this is okay though. It's okay enough. And I guess the big thing that the tutorial said, and you see in all the good runs, is that look down is really important on this level. And it's long enough to where that I feel like the time would add up to make a difference for sure. So yeah, look down is what you generally are doing. So even right at the start, you set the line and then a look down, and then I mean the best runs, they don't even set their line first. Like in planner, they immediately look down and then they just have their line, they just know. So for 150, I don't think it mattered for me. It was just get the line correct and then look down. And then I looked up a little bit just to make sure. So it's 1, 2, 3 turns. Trying to stay a bit tight to these trees. This is where SA and 00 is going to differ. On 00, you can go behind the hut. So this line you're about to set is to the hut. On SA, your line is going to go like this, and on 00, it's going to go like that to the right. So on 00, your line can essentially be parallel with this tree line, and it would get you at least close enough to where you need to be. On SA though, the line is gonna go to the left a bit. And this is where, you know, the best runs have, they aren't looking up to make sure they're setting their line perfectly. But for me, at least learning this level, it was worth it just looking up to know I'm setting my line correctly. So let me see if there's like some visual indicators. So I'm looking up. This is the hut right here. So I want to like barely not see it. So I'm turning enough. Now I can't see it. You see there's like these dark patches. This is like where the ridge goes up right next to this hut. So if you can barely not see the hut, I think that's like the perfect line. Once I know my line's good, I'm gonna look down. You know, you could take out the trash and do your laundry or whatever for the next 30 seconds or however long this line is. There's these dickhead guards here. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna call them dickheads because they don't really pose that big of a deal. Like, they don't really pose that big a threat. So this is like the hut here, and then these are like the guards here. So I'm like barely going past the hut, so I know I've got a good line. This is the shadow that I pointed out earlier, that you're going up the ridge. But really, you shouldn't have to like wiggle your line too far. If you don't see any of this, and barely you don't see much of this shadow here, that means you're a bit to the left and you need to like adjust to the right just a tad bit. And the next visual indicator is going to be that like metal stand. That metal stand lookout thing, and it casts a shadow. I just got caught up boost there. So let me go back. So yeah, you can. It's pretty nice. You can catch a boost from those guards, or you can get a back boost. But if you get a back boost, you know you can still get front boosted, and they'll be all right. But I mean, really, I did not pay much mind to what those guards were doing. So the visual indicator is the shadow, and if you're to the right, you will see like you'll be in more of it. So like I'm actually a little bit to the left here, and you can be like in the shadow a bit more. So I'm a bit to the left of it, but it's still like totally okay, I think. Um, yeah, but yeah, just use that as another visual indicator of where you are. But if you see it, like you're on a pretty good line. And I think if you're like in it more, I don't know if that's like a better line, but yeah, if you don't see it at all, then like you're probably gonna have to adjust a little bit to the right. Like I know I'm getting close to the hut here, so I'm gonna look up. But I know the better runs, I think they look up a little bit later. But I'm looking up now here. So you want to hit B from pretty far out, because it'll give you more time for shooting the guard. I found, like, I think I even come at it a bit to the left. If I came at it a bit more from the right, then I would have had more time for the B press or whatever, but it wasn't a huge deal. I don't think I lost really much time there. Here looking down is good because if you look up, it gets extremely laggy and you lose a bunch of frames. So yeah, looking down here is pretty key. You can use this gun or this sniper. I like the PP7 more. I've tried with the sniper. I don't think the sniper has auto aim. I'm not 100% sure actually. I'm not sure. But I found that the auto aim was good enough with this PP7 to where you like didn't have to really have that good of aim. You could have let the auto aim kind of lock on to this guy. You really want to shoot like 4 bullets, and it's I feel like with this auto aim, you can look down with this PP7 with the sniper. I think you need to be looking pretty far up. But again, with looking up, you're gonna get some lag. So looking down, I think is good. It might feel like you're gonna be just lighting up his feet or even just like the ground, but I think it's okay to feel that way. I think the auto aim, you just gotta trust the auto aim will hook you up if you can get 4 shots. I think 4 shots is like I think 4 shots is perfect here with the PP7. You can have it to where like you aren't able to get, I don't know if it's the inputs get eaten, but sometimes you only get like 2 shots out. And it can be nice where you shoot him and he does the bending over animation and you get him in the head. So like 1 shot here, 2 shot, hit him in the head. But really it's hard to like plan for that sort of thing. It just kind of happens. So you're in right strafe up to the door. You hit B for the door. You can either do C up, or you can actually do a little bit of C left, like on the door, to kind of correct yourself because you're coming from C right, or from right strafe. So a little bit of C left on the door I think is pretty good. And I think Irie does that on his run. So you're C-upping into this guy. You want to get 4 shots on him. If you see it for too long, you're going to run into these boxes, but it's safer. But you could also YOLO it, see up for a little bit, and then hit right strafe. See up into him. You want to get 4 shots, go into right strafe as soon as possible, keeping your look down. You don't want to be like all the way looking down because you're going to need to pick up the GL. Okay, so in my run, what happens? I try to go for 4 shots. I only get 3. So I'm C-upping into this guy. I only get 3 on him, which can happen. I was definitely spamming Z, but only got 3. That's okay. We're going into right strafe here, picking up this ammo. This is kind of a weird section. So I'm in right strafe. Now I'm like in C up. And really, if you want to, the more you get good at this, I think you can go in a C left or a left strafe quicker. But for me, I found like being in C up for like quite a bit into this box and turning my stick so that I'm going to be looking to the left, like it feels like you're stalling on this box for a long time, but it's a more consistent pickup for the GL I found. So it definitely, I think, is slower, and if you want to go for better than 150, I think you can't really be stalling on this box that much, but for 150, I found it to be like totally fine. So I'm in C up right now, and I'm just C upping in this box, and I'm turning my view to the left. Okay, now I'm turning the left strafe. So right strafe. Now I'm going into C up here, turning on the box, left strafe. And you know, sometimes you just, even if you do this, you just don't pick up the GL at all, and it's just too bad, unfortunately. If you watch, I know in Ivory's run, his input display, he's like right strafe into this and then left or just C up for like the smallest amount of time and then into left strafe. And I found the more I did the hut, the more I was able to switch into left strafe and get the GL. So I think it might just be a practice thing too. But if you're finding you're just like not getting this GL, with YOLOing this box, you know, you can really see up into this thing and use it to pivot and turn to the left. Sorry, my neighbor's fucking wilding right now. What the fuck? C upping and then going into left strafe. Okay. What else do I need to say here? Oh yeah. So I only shot 3 bullets into the guard. So right now I'm not in the clear. I need to get him on the way out. And really, you should be ready to shoot like as soon as you get out from under this box, because he can be right up on this box. And this, like, he can be right here, in which case you need to be ready to shoot to get his key. Luckily for me, sometimes he's like in the perfect position. He's like right on the way out. So you're just like, okay, easy. The auto aim will really do wonders. So you don't even need to focus on really shooting, like aiming at him. You need to worry about your movement and shooting him at the correct time where your auto aim locks onto him, if that makes sense. So going into C left here, let me mute this. Going into C left here, and one thing that Icy gave me advice on is you really want to cut this hard. So if your stick isn't great, you might have to really jam it. I found that I really had to start jamming my stick to the right in order to get a tight enough turn. Because I was losing time going wide here, but you really want to, you know, turn sharply. So your auto aim will pick up on this guy. You just have to shoot at the right time. So I'm shooting like 2 or 3 bullets here on the way out. Got 4 bullets. Yeah, so I'm shooting like 3 bullets. And I get them on the way out. All good. And then turning sharp. And I'm setting a line against this hut here. All right, cool. So setting a line against this hut here. And switching to the GL. The best runs are not looking up here. They're just kind of trusting their line, looking down. I'm looking up here. You're setting a line for this hut way over here. The door is on the left. And I did this GL boost in kind of different ways. So I started by shooting off this hut, and then I did some the way that like the best runs do it, where you're looking down. So if you're doing it off the hut, yeah, so you aim enough, you're aiming for like, again, just the side of this hut here. So I'm shooting here, it ricochets and goes into the ridge, and ideally it lands like deeper in here, and you can like barely catch it or turn a little bit to the right and catch that boost. Here I feel like it just kind of side boosted me, like it didn't really work. So this strat I think is more consistent for me, but I feel like it's actually maybe worse, which I know doesn't sound like there's that much definites there. It's really hard to say here. But one annoying thing on 00 is that, like, you know, you can have guards shooting and boosting you. And I guess even on SA, you can get shot here into the explosion and die. So in my 00 run, I can show the other way. So really I should be looking more down here, but it's fine. The door is right here. And what I do, this was another way area I was losing time, and I don't think I do it that great in this run, but you want to be pressing B from like pretty far away, like almost like here. You can press, not like here, but we're like pretty much here. Yeah, like here you can be pressing B and then switch into right strafe. So not waiting until you're like on the door to press B, but like, yeah, here pretty much. So it'll be at least opening by the time you get to it. And I'm switching into right strafe. I'm going for like, this doesn't feel that tight or that big a deal. Just like on this side of the table, going right. Switching to left strafe for like a second or like a split second. Left, back into right strafe. So let me slow this down. So I'm in left strafe, right strafe, left strafe, right strafe. It's like it's kind of weird to time. You're like barely going to left strafe again. Before this, you can get boosted, and your left strafe needs to be like, you can be going here and catching a boost like as you're going into the hut, like literally right here. Especially if you're getting stuck on this, because it gives the guards a bit more time to shoot you. You can get boosted here, which doesn't fuck up getting to this table, but it fucks up your turnaround. So on the turnaround, you have to be, your momentum is like weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it's different. So when you're going in the left strafe here, if you had gotten boosted to the door, you need to be in left strafe for less time. And you want a sharp turn. And immediately you're going to be coming up this ridge and setting, you're going to be trying to get a boost, self boost. And this is my setup here. Like, there's the trees here and the open space here. So I don't know if setting up this part is as important as worrying about this self boost, this side boost. These are kind of hard to explain how far you need to be looking down. This just feels like a sight thing. You want to do one. So you shoot it, it starts to explode, and then you're going left for like just a little bit. And then back to right. This boost I did not start implementing until pretty late into the grind, and this was kind of, I think, my missing piece, because I had read Icy's advice incorrectly, and I thought he was talking about a different boost, but he was saying I should be learning this boost. So this one would give you, you know, a full 0.3 seconds, whereas the side boosts don't give you as much, from what I understand. All right, so, and this one's weird. I feel like I didn't overthink this one. I just watched Irie's run and then did what he did. So let me pull up his run. So this is his input display here. So he's looking actually pretty far down here, further down than I'd looked. But he's come up to this ridge, and he's pressing Z before he's even looking down, which sounds like it looked weird when I saw it the first time, but then I did it and it made sense. So it's like you're literally pressing Z as you're looking down. By the time the GL shoots, you're going to be in the right position looking down. And you catch the boost. And on my run, I'm not looking as far down when I start Z, when I hit Z. So I lose a lot of health here, but on SA it didn't matter as much because I just had more health. But yeah, this one I implemented pretty late, but Z as you're looking down. Catch the boost. Now, usually I do 1 or 2 boosts here. I used to try to fit in 2, but I think I might do 1 here. I'm not sure. Oh, I got boosted here. And I tried to go for another. But as soon as I shot it, I knew it was too far away. So I was like, I'm not going to duck out to get the boost. Like, especially this far out, this is not worth going to the left to go to the right. So you're kind of going up this ridge. You're setting your line for like the right, just the right of this hut here. So I see it on my screen. Let me pull back. See the hut like right here. So I'm looking down now. Because again, look down is just good in this level. Okay, so you don't need to be right up against this hut for your line. I think maybe a little bit back is actually better. A little bit to the right is actually better to make this turn. This turn isn't really anything special. It's kind of exactly how you would think. Just left strafe and turning to the left. Like as you get past this, and you can even test, you can even go in and test it and see how early you can turn. But I had runs where I definitely was trying to YOLO this part and try to turn early and missed and just got stuck on the gate. So you don't have to go crazy on this turn. Really, you want to be aiming for like here, like running into this door right here, and you're in left strafe, and yeah, you're like going for like here, and you're pressing B pretty much right where I am, because this door swings out, and the movement is you're in C left, you press B. Once you're like about to get to the wall, you start doing C up and then C right. Hitting B here, I'm in C left. Now I'm hitting C up. Now I'm going into C right. If you do C right too early, you can get stuck on the wall. I'm in C right here. I'm aiming for like the right of this safe. I'm hitting B like now. If you're too far to the left, you're just gonna like run up against this door. Now we're turning into left strafe. So B, we're still in right strafe. Now we're switching into left strafe here and kind of pivoting on the safe. To make this, so we're still in left strafe. To make sure you like make this turn, you can kind of rub up against the wall, but I think once you get more experience for the spacing of this level, you can just yeah, you don't have to rub up against the walls hard. Turn to the left. This is a very hard, or not hard, but like sharp turn, because we're gonna stay in left strafe. So just crank around this. We're going to like the left of this path, and it's gonna be, there's like a ridge going up and there's a wall here. So we want to just barely hit the like corner and turn left. So again, look down is good. Especially on double O, you can expect to get like shot here. So we're going up the ridge and we're looking for this wall to the left. We don't want to like, definitely don't want to run like, or, you know, rub up against it too hard or get stuck. I don't really think you can get that stuck, but it's just a good indicator of where you need to be. So you see this corner, so we're going to turn left. And yeah, on double O and I guess SA2, you can really expect to get shot at any point here. I'm looking straight down and we're like We're like up against this wall. Going like straight with the wall. The wall kind of goes away, but we want to keep our line. I'm looking straight down here. And really, like, in your mind, so this is another boost you're doing. Let me put it actually into full speed. All right, let's see the boost in full speed. So really it does like barely any damage to you if you do it correctly. So you're looking straight down. Pretty much as soon as you like, you don't want to anticipate it, but as soon as you like see it on your screen and your brain registers that you see it now, you hit Z. Because by the time it goes through, it's like the perfect time. So you shoot it, and then you don't have to keep looking up at this point. Like once you shoot it down and it goes off, you can start to look up a little bit. Really, like, it might have been Irie's run, somebody's run. They have like 0 bars of health and they still go for this boost because it doesn't really do that much damage to you. If you do it too early, you actually can just jump over it completely. But either way. So now I'm looking up, going against this building here. You don't want to be going too tight onto it because you need to make a turn, and it just is easier if you're a little bit off the building. So this is where I found that cutting or watching the cinema is okay. Watching both cinemas all the way through, because when I was pacing like 152 or whatever, and I was cutting the first cinema immediately, I would have like this guard like here, and then he would block you later. But anyways, we're going around this building, and we're still in left strafe, and we're turning really hard. And even at like this point, we're still in left strafe. Even at this point, we're like pressing B or like about to press B. Yeah, like you can hear I hit the door already. Still in left strafe. Stairs are to the left. I think having look down here is better than being like planar. You have like a better understanding of where you are on the stairs. So sharp left again, sharp left. If you don't turn sharp enough, you're gonna get caught on here. Let's just actually watch this in full speed. So this walkway before this door, really, you definitely want to do it sharp. And the way I think this is the fastest runs they do it, they essentially are like going straight up to this door, and they're turning left to hit the B press from far away, and then turning a bit to the right to go back onto your straight line. I think that's the quickest way, but if you don't want to have to do that little turn, you would essentially just do, left strafe and then press B once you get close to the door. See, in this run, I kind of like rub up against it. So when I come back to this run, or come back for 149 or better, I need to make sure that on this turn here, I'm turning even a little bit further to the left when I get close to the door to be able to press B from as far away as possible and then turn back to the right. So I do that. I run like straight into the console on this run. So in that case, I'm not able to like pivot off of this thing. And when I turn into right strafe, I'm going like pretty like into the, or just like in the room still, like deep in the room over here, and then able to turn out and get back into a normal line. I think most runs, what you'll have is you'll go to the left of this console and you'll be able to turn it a right strafe and you're like pivoting off the side of this console. But if you run straight into it, when you turn it a right strafe, yeah, you kind of go into this room a bit more. I don't think it's a deal breaker though. I think this is completely fine, at least for this pace. So back into some look down here, sharp turns. If that guard was closer by, he would be messing you up here. Sharp turn. I even turn a bit too much to the right. Obviously, you don't need to go like directly on this door, but you know, it's whatever. Turn to the left, and we're setting this line here. I don't know where the guard is that boosted me. Is he over here? He might be. Honestly, this is like a pretty rare boost for me. I don't think I got this more than once, honestly, at this point. But either way, setting a line for here. At this point, I'm trying to set up for the final GL shot. You want to be looking a little bit higher up than planner. My dot is going through like the middle of these like dark splotches. So like bro, somebody is fucking screaming, holy shit. So like if this is a dark spot, we're trying to set up for like the center. Turn to the left. You want to shoot the shot like as soon as you get off here. So anytime you spend like, you're really trying to like set your level here with the dot, and then by this point, just trying to make sure based off of like how your GL looks, if you need to make any slight adjustments up or down before you get off this wall. And you really want to be on the wall, like parallel, but very close up against it. At least for my setup, that is. Obviously, if you grind it, it can fuck up your run. And if you go too far to the right, you need to adjust your height. But for like going just above planner, being like right up against it, and then shooting as soon as you get off the wall is the setup I use. So we're coming off, we're gonna shoot now. Obviously if you shoot too low, you're just gonna hit this thing. And if you shoot too far, you might not even notice it, but by the time you get up, you don't have all the locks off. So yeah, I lost a good amount of runs just lost a good amount of runs just shooting up against here. But anyway, so we're gonna get ready for this ladder warp. And for me, my stick is not as tight, so like I was having trouble going straight for it and then turning like more than 90 degrees. But at the same time, if you go like too far out, you are just wasting time. So I found a happy medium here. And it's honestly maybe a bit wide here, but either way. Essentially pressing A here, and you want to aim for like the very middle of the ladder. Because I found if I was a little bit to the right or to the left, I would still get to the ladder and start climbing up it. But the best way to warp was like right up the middle. So like I'm here, I'm on the middle here. I'm holding C right, or sorry, right strafe. And if you let go too soon, uh, you're not gonna get into the hole as optimally as you can. But if you hold, or hopefully I said right strafe. If you don't hold right strafe, you know, long enough, you're essentially gonna like hit the lip. You're gonna essentially hit this and not go into the hole, but you really want to warp so like far up and forward that you just get over this lip here. But if you hold right strafe for too long, you're essentially going to go over the hole and end up on the right, like on the other side. So you really have to find a happy medium. So I'm holding right strafe pretty much until like here. Whereas I think before, when I was holding right strafe, like I would hold it up until like here, and I would hit this and then go in. And then like as you're going in, you want to crouch, which sounds kind of crazy because there's all this shit going on, but you kind of just can make it work. It's like, all right, now I'm just gonna stop holding right strafe and I'm gonna focus on the crouch here. Yeah. Um, I think that's all I want to say about SA. Let's just look at 00 and see if there's really much difference. So at this point, you're going to be going parallel with this wall for the 00 setup to get behind the hut. And if you, notice you try to be parallel with that wall, and then you really can trust just the look down here. At least this like first portion of look down. By the time you get to this path, what I would do is I would start looking up just to make sure I know like where I am in context to this hut, because like sometimes you think you're parallel to the wall and then your line is too far to the left or right. So you want to be going to like this corner and then going left, and this is where I'm looking up as well, even though the best runs keep look down and they like I kind of forgot what I was saying. Yeah, anyways, I'm looking up here just so I can set my line to like the right of this watch thing. Once I got my line correctly, I'm gonna go ahead and look down again. You're walking down this path, and then getting close to the hut, you can look up and get ready for the door press. I think really killing this guard is not that much more difficult on 00, if at all. I actually don't know if it really makes that much of a difference. So this is where I do the look down boost. And essentially it's like, it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a ditch. And there's like a ridge, like a line. So it's like you're going into this corner pocket and you're like going off the ridge into the ditch. And as you're like gonna fall over the edge, you turn to the right a little and shoot into the pocket. And in this one, I like hit the freaking hut, but really, you can shoot like here and maybe even a bit later and get a better result. I shoot a bit early and at the hut. And yeah, I mean, I feel like you just get shot a bit more on 00. So like expect boosts here. Or not expect boosts, but like they definitely can happen. You want to do a boost here if you can. I had gotten shot. So I got shot before I was able to do the boost. So I didn't go for the ditch boost, but I don't think you need the ditch boost on 00 because you just get shot a lot more. So you can get boosted a lot more compared to SA. So I just do the side boost. Don't do the ditch boost. You can do 1 or 2 boosts there. I just do 1. It had a little bit of a stuck there, but luckily it didn't throw the runaway for me. This setup, I think, it was a bit tighter to the ladder. Not by much, but just a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. I mean, also for SA, I did experiment with going behind the hut, just like 00, because I was finding I actually enjoyed 00 more because I was going behind the hut and I was getting shot a lot less between the first hut and the second hut. But I mean, really, I think you can still just, you don't have to go behind the hut on SA. I think you just put up with those runs where you get really unlucky boosts. And I mean, you're just going to get unlucky boosts regardless. Just playing this level, you just get boosted at like the worst time sometimes. Like right before you're about to get into a hut, you get boosted and then it's just dead. So, yeah, so when I come back to this, I think overall more look down is going to be necessary. I think a more YOLO first hut, um, because I'm pivoting on that box in the first hut quite a bit. So more YOLO first hut, uh, cleaner third hut, because I know the third hut you can like really YOLO it to where like when you're doing the safe you can go pretty quickly like you can have it where like usual runs you go pretty deep into the safe when you're pivoting, but like sometimes you can pivot like on like really close to this corner, so you're like barely even in the hut. And like there's some runs where this door open is just like insanely quick, whereas mine is like pretty slow. So um that, and I think hitting all of the, I'm probably going to be doing look down boost for 149 or better. Probably going to hit this boost, ditch boost, like 2 side boosts. Like overall, like I didn't get to do this boost. I had a pretty large stuck in the big building. Um, yeah, like overall, this wasn't really that good of a run. It was still 150, so like I definitely think 149 is not too out of the picture. But um, yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I want to talk about. So um, yeah, if you have any questions, if anyone ends up watching this, feel